Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Friday, the 10th of May 2019. What I want to do in today's alert is just focus on the Dow and the activity in there at the moment. And what I did yesterday was record the activity. This is early on in the morning, just after the market alert. We can see the Dow was weakening and then move along. I'm just going to switch over to the 5-minute chart. You can see this taking place between 6:55 and 8:35 in the pre-market session. I'm just going to wind forward through this, and then we saw a spike to the downside. There was some selling, and then the market reversed at 8:50, and then prices got into a bit of a sideways range, finding support in the pre-market session and moving higher. Then we had the economic news there of Powell speaking, and then the stock market moved lower. You can see the buying coming back into the market here, and then we headed for the main session as prices continued lower before the markets opened. So here's the start of the session. You see the buying coming into the market, and then the news hits. Okay, so this is the news that sent the markets lower. Stocks plumb session lows after Chinese media says zero chance of a trade deal, and this sent the market lower, and you'll see it continue lower. And then what I did here was mark up all of these areas of support, so I could see where the market was likely to find any. When we've taken the 76% retracement out, we then mark up where the other lows are, and they're just over here on the left, so that's what I was doing there. You can see the market testing there. It holds for a moment or two, and then what I've done here is drawn on the low here to see whether the market was going to react. It then took out this low for a moment, and then prices started to find support, and we see the selling disappear here. Prices once more retest, start to trade sideways, back above the 20-bar moving average, and then start to move higher. And the reason why they started to move higher, I can just go back to here and move through the news, you will see that this is an interesting thing as well. The yield curve has inverted again. Let me just pause for here and just show you as well. So again, this is still signaling that the prospect of a recession down the line as well. There have been recessions without the yield curve inverting, but 100% of the time when the yield curve inverts, then you actually see a recession. So this is the second time this has happened recently, so keep an eye on this as well. And then I'll just wind this back. You will see as we move higher, it's amazing all it takes to turn these markets around. There's espionage concerns as well with China. And there you go. Stock surge as Trump says trade deal still possible. So 1 second there's no deal and the stock market falls out of bed. The next thing Trump says there is, he sends out a tweet and the markets rally all the way back to the 200-bar moving average, and then trade sideways, a bit of profit taking at the end of the session there. So it's amazing how the power of social media is working with this, and it gets traders to turn the whole situation around from moving lower to then moving back to the upside. It's quite incredible when you actually start to put all of these pieces together. Also, the implied volatility didn't move barely at all, given that the market had dropped 1,000 points. So there's still potential for the downside here. And let me just bring this into here so you can see where we are in the current picture. On the overnight, we've got some weakness, and we've got some activity here. So what's this news here? Well, again, if we go back to the main headline, so look what we've got. US hikes China tariff after talks result in no progress. China vows to retaliate. And that is what has sent the markets to the downside again on the overnight. You can see that there, big swing there, 150 point swing. Got the retracement back up here, and now heading to the downside. So what are they going to do to try and bring the market back today? We're just at the 200 bar moving average and above the DP. Will it hold is the question. And when we look at the daily chart, we see yesterday the market trading down to the 25,500 level, which I drew in, as you saw. And now you can see that we're sideways to lower. Watch the 76% retracement. Watch the low of yesterday. If they're taken out, we're going down to these other levels here. We do have some US news today. The fiddled CPI figures, but before that we've got a few bits and pieces from the UK manufacturing production, GDP month on month, and the preliminary GDP. But over to the US, at 1:30 we've got the core CPI. I mean, this is absolutely and utterly rigged. If you go to John Williams' shadowstats.com, you'll get to see the true figure of inflation, which is running around 10%. It just goes to show you how much this is being massaged and manipulated. Okay, before we conclude, let's just have a quick look, see what the pound's doing. Not a lot for yesterday, still a bit weak, needs to hold above the 200 day moving average. 15 minutes, not a lot. Market move lower, but narrow range for yesterday. And in Bitcoin, continuing to move higher. The volume is dropping off a bit of a concern that we could see a pullback here. Now you can see there was a bit of buying, but once again, this is all taking part on the overnight market, which you can see here. Yesterday, the market in a range, but only the one potential losing trade there. But the range still not big enough, but getting there to what we would like for trading the 15-minute time frame. I'll have to look at this in a bit more detail, see if we can find a small, well, not a smaller time frame, something like the 30-minute, and have a look at the settings. But certainly starting to pick up, which is good news. But I wish they'd save the trading for our main session as opposed to the Far Eastern one, which they seem to be doing a lot. And again, you can see now it's going quiet, so a bit frustrating there. Okay, that will do it for this one. Keep your eye on the Dow today and see how this starts to unfold, given that there is no trade deal now between the US and tariffs have increased, and the potential for retaliation as well. Okay, that will do it for this one. Have a great weekend. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.